Okay, can you hear me? Let's just you and I test it. Okay, great. Now, lag is not too bad either. All right, so I'm just going to proceed as if there's a bunch of people here. I'm not going to record this one. Okay, good. How is the audio? Good. Okay. All right. Let me. No, you don't need to call anybody. Forget it. I would just let's do a test here and see what it's like. All right. So now I'm going to switch to the webcam. Hey everybody, Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. Great to have you here and welcome to Stock Analysis Fridays. The purpose of this event is so we can look up stocks that may be of interest to you. You may be in them already, you may be thinking about going in them, or you just might want a second opinion. And so the idea here is every Friday for a half an hour, we're going to take a look at the stocks you want me to take a look. And all I'm going to ask you to do is type in the symbol in caps, tell me if you're long or short that stock, and then I'll give you my opinion. All right, based on software that I developed called the Applied Reality Trading Software, which is available at TradersCoach.com. So before I get started, I'm just going to go through a few administrational items, but I really want to welcome each and everybody here, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun here each and every Friday. So let's go ahead and get started. A few administrational things, and then we'll jump into the charts. Okay, so the first thing I got to cover is basically the risks involved in trading. Before we do any event like this, we have to, of course, discuss that. And there are risks involved in trading. I think we all know that. But like I always say, without those risks, there is never any opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. We just want to make sure you know about the risk, and also check with your financial advisor or money manager before actually taking any trades we may recommend here, just to be sure they're suitable for you, because we don't know your personal situation, and of course they do. Also too, if you're new here, again, welcome, but I also have a lot of books that may be of interest to you, and we cover important topics in trading like money management, the Applied Reality Trading Art of Software, Survival Guide for Traders, and the Elliott Wave Technique Simplified, which is a form of technical analysis. So you can pick those up at Amazon. I've got all the links below in the description for this stuff, so just go down there and click any one of those links that interests you. All right, so I've also developed software, and the software we've developed here does a variety of things. Some of it's charting software that you put on your charts, and that would be the ART, AL, PTF, and TLM, and ERI. You're going to see me using that today. The other software is scanning software. This basically is how we find opportunities in the market. And then, of course, we're really big on risk control, and we have risk control software as well. All right, now, if you haven't already, I want you to like, subscribe, and share, and also feel free to use the comments, okay? So that's an important aspect of it as well. All right, now, I hear there's no sound, so let me just make sure the sound is working okay. What do we got for sound out there? Okay. Okay, so it looks like the sound is working okay. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at some charts here. So let me come out of this, and now you should see my screen. And so what I'd like you to do is actually go into the chat area. And don't forget, you need to be registered to do this, but go into the chat area and type in a symbol in caps that you want me to look at, and I'll be glad to do that. And tell me if you're long or short. All right, that always helps. All right, I'm just going to start out with Bitcoin because this is really popular today, and I've got the weekly chart of Bitcoin up here right now. And I'm just going to draw in the Elliott wave and go over a few things in case you're new here. So what you're looking at is a weekly chart. So each price bar represents a full week. So this is the long-term aspect of GBTC. And you can see the software on the chart in the form of triangles indicating trend direction. We also use these for entries and exits. That's part of the art software. Then we have something called the owl down here for momentum. And then the PTF to tell us if we're going higher or not. And then the trend line master. And a fear and greed indicator called the ERI down here at the bottom. So that's what those indicators are on the charts. All right, so in this particular scenario, in terms of an Elliott wave, we're looking at a 3, a 4, and a 5. Now there's 5 trends in an Elliott wave. So if you don't know about Elliott wave, that's kind of how it works. So we're looking for Bitcoin to reach another high, which would be that final wave 5. And that's kind of the area I'm circling up here. And that particular region is between $57.77 on GBTC all the way up to $78.70. So this is an ETF that you can actually trade in your IRA or in your personal account, and it will represent what Bitcoin is doing. And this, we're bullish on Bitcoin right now. It's looking really good. Anybody out there in Bitcoin? If you are, hopefully you'll find this helpful. All right, I'm going to minimize this chart, and then you're going to see 3 charts up here. And what I do is I usually look, before I enter a trade, I usually look on 3 charts of the same market. So I got the 60-minute chart over here, which is the short-term trend. I've got the daily chart here, which is what I call the primary trend. And then I have the weekly chart on the far right, which is the longer term trend, which is what we just looked at for Bitcoin. All right, so let's take a look at gold. SL wants to take a look at gold, so let me bring that up for you. All right, and give that a second to load on your end. And when we take a look at gold, we're actually very bullish on gold. And what I want to do with gold is actually open up the long-term chart first, and then I'll go back to the shorter term charts as well. So if we look at gold on a long-term basis here, what we're really looking at, again, is that Elliott wave. And we look like we have a 3 here that occurred back in July, of 4, and we're heading into this area of 5 here. So that's where we're kind of going, and these waves are all the waves that are inside the major wave 5 that's unfolding on this, because if we go way back in time, all the way to about 2005, you'll see a major 3 here, you'll see a 4 here, and then we'll have a 5 here. So we have minor waves and side waves, so this is our target for gold. So we do think it's going up. But what we want to be careful about is timing, because as you can see, it's been kind of stagnating a little bit. And we do think this is a significant bottom down here. So we really feel not a bad time to go in, but let's see if we can do a little bit better on our timing. One of the things we like to do is look at the daily chart. And as you can see on the daily chart, we've got a lot of red, and we have an established move down, all right, on the daily. So we still have a red, what we call PTF, and we still have a red PTF on the left-hand side. So there's a 70% chance, a 75% chance the market's going to go a little bit lower before heading up to this target range on the weekly chart. So based on that, we would kind of wait to go long at this point and look for a better opportunity when the shorter term charts turn bullish. So that's kind of where we're at on gold. So we like gold. We like it, SL, for a long-term play. We're just going to hold off a little bit longer before we take that long trade. Thank you for asking about that one. All right, Paul, how are you doing? Let's take a look at LIFE. All right, you're in a long hold on this. Give that a second to load. And here we go. All right, let's see what we're cooking on here. All right, so you've gotten in. I don't know where exactly you got in, Paul, but here is, and Paul, is that Paul Klein? I assume that is. How you doing, Paul? All right, so this is looking really good for a long trade on so many different levels. okay? And on this chart here, you have a green PTF on both the weekly and also the daily. So definitely you want to be long. And I've drawn in a fib retracement area that I think would be a conservative target zone, believe it or not, all the way up into the hundreds if this thing retraces, because it used to be at 300 and some odd dollars, right? So it came all the way down, and now it looks like it may be trying to do a little retracement. Now, what causes a market to go from a high of in the 300s down to $9? Well, not good news, right? So what causes a market then to go back up to 160? Well, I would imagine not only did you have people selling on the way down based on bad news, but also too, you have, once you get at the bottom, all those people that have shorted are now covering. So that causes a buyback in the stock, which causes it to rise to these retracement levels. And then in combination, you have investors that think it's a good value at that point too. So that's why you can get these dramatic shifts after a big move, either down or up. All right, so good. So you're in it at 5. You got to love that, right? You almost doubled your money. All right, how about another one? Everybody can see the charts okay? SLV, I love that one. All right, that's silver. That's the ETF for silver, okay? Again, I'm actually like silver, and I want to get involved in silver because it's come down so much. However, let's take a look and see if the timing is right now. A couple weeks ago, we looked at it, not so good. So here's what we've had on this. We had a really huge move back up. You know, very similar to gold, right, back in 2011. But the problem with silver is it didn't retrace a normal amount for an uptrend. Instead, it kept going down. So now we've got this area where it's been going back and forth and then showed some promise. And look, boom, went back down. Now it's showing some promise again. Okay. So it looks to me like it is trying to go up in value. And one of the most important bottoms, of course, is this, all right? But certainly at $21, you can't set your stop there. So we've got a red owl still on the weekly chart, and we've got a bearish pyramid still active on the weekly chart. So technically, we're kind of in a downtrend, aren't we? All right, so you don't want to go buying into a downtrend. Let's see if the week or the daily charts are showing any bullishness yet. So I'm going to open up the daily chart. And notice on the daily chart here, we have that bearishness. It's not as bad as it was because the PTF is no longer red. And we're starting to see a little bit of an increase, but we still have a bearish owl. And the owl measures momentum. So before we take a long trade, we want to see that owl green. We want to have bullish momentum in the market. We have a bullish pyramid as put in by the art software. So now we do need to wait for a bullish owl. And so that's going to hold us up a little bit before an immediate buy. All right, and then if we take a look here on the 60-minute chart, again, we see bullishness also coming back in. So the only parameter that I'm concerned about here is the owl being negative on the daily chart. And also, too, what we're trying to establish is, do we have a bottom in on this weekly chart? Okay, so that's why you're going to definitely want to use a stop. If you go long based on this daily chart, I would make sure you have your stop in case this decides to go down a little further. I do think this bottom is a major bottom, but there's a lot of room between here and here for the market to test. So you do have to be careful. I do think silver will do really well. It's just a matter of timing, okay? All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at, hey Zeke, NVDA. NVDA. All right, give these things just a minute to load. And great to have everybody here. All right, again, Zeke, in case you came in late, what I use is 3 time frames here when I do an analysis of a market. It's all the same market. So one on the far left is a 60-minute chart, the one in the center is a daily, and the one on the far right is a weekly. So we have a long-term aspect, an intermediate, and a short-term. All right, So Zeke, what are you doing with this one? Are you long this one right now? You got a bull put spread. Okay. Short term. Okay, fine. All right. So here's the deal with what we're looking at this. Since you're short term, I'm going to focus in on the 60-minute chart. And that's a very bullish chart. All right. We have a bullish PTF, and we also have a bullish owl sitting right there as well, and a bullish pyramid. So it's been bullish for quite some time. All right. So hopefully you've been in this for a while. Okay. But it's going higher. Okay. So if you're thinking of a position to make money when it sells off, all right, you're gonna have to wait a little while. All right. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but based on this chart here, it's going to go higher further before it comes back down. All right. And then if we look at the daily chart, all right, you also have a bullish pyramid, but you do have bearish momentum. All right. So it's kind of struggling here. But again, if you look at that NVDA weekly chart, you definitely don't want to short that. Okay. Because that is a very powerful uptrend. So that's kind of where we're at now. So short term, I think a bullish trade is great. All right. I think a bearish trade is not where you want to be on this, on any of the time frames. Okay, next. Hopefully I didn't miss any. If I missed any, type it in again, okay? All right, Gene says, Ben, let's keep the broadcast going. I'm sending out another email. Okay. Yeah, we had a little trouble with the link. Apparently, when we went live, the link got replaced by a live event link, which we didn't know. All right. Here we go. SCHW, Schwab. All right, let me type that baby in. Give that a second to load. Hocus pocus. Where's the data, right? Okay, here we go. All right, so far we've got bullishness on the long-term time frame. Let's open this up a little bit and take a look at this. So really, Schwab has been bullish really for almost most of this year. Okay, it actually reached a form of a bottom in March, and that was back in here, right, in 20. And then since then, which is 21 is down here, so it's been bullish for the year. All right, so it's doing really, really good. We had a pullback here, stop would be here. We're seeing bearish divergence in the momentum, and what that means is that when prices make highs, and this does not, that divergence is a warning sign of a mature trend. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but you have to be a little careful. I would not enter this trade if I have not been in it already. All right? So you want to have your stop right here at the bottom of this pyramid. The reason why you just don't want to jump out of the market, all right, and I assume this is a long-term one for you, Stuart, because I think you deal in long-term. Let me know if it's not, because I'm going to give you stops on various time frames. But on this time frame, assuming it's a long-term position, let's take a look at that price. So we'll bring up the data window and put it right under the base leg of that applied reality trading software pyramid trading point. And so that's $67.31. So your stop based on the weekly chart would be at $67.30, right? Okay, so that's where your stop for a long-term position is. And that's a good place to have it, because that's going to give you a little bit of room for a little bit of volatility if it wants to go higher. But if things fall out of bed, you'll be protected, okay? And you'll get out before a big decline, all right, or a big retracement. All right, let's take a look at that weekly chart and see if that can help us even further. So you're in it already, and on the weekly chart, we can certainly see we have another pyramid here. So if you wanted to use a pyramid that was a little closer, so let's say you were position trading this more than a long-term trade, you could use this pyramid with a low of 72.05. So your stop would be at 72.04, okay, 04. So that would be a good place to have it there as well. Now you could do a combination. You could be a long-term trader and scale out maybe a third or a half of your position if that lower time frame pyramid gets hit, right? And then, of course, what's interesting here, all right, is we have now a green, was red, but it went green, bullish 60-minute chart. So it looks like we're going to have some more highs here before this thing calls it quits. So being long here is not a bad thing. All right, good. Thank you. All right, anybody else? What else we got here? Do you guys like this? Is it helpful? If you can't follow anything or if you're new, let me know, okay? And don't forget, like, subscribe to the channel because we want to build this and have a lot of fun with this on Fridays. All right, anybody else? All right, good. Glad everybody likes it. Excellent. So when we look at 3 time frames like this is really considered multiple time frame analysis. And I have been using this form of analysis for quite some time, and I find it really helpful for timing. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, smash that like button. I like that, Paul. Let's take a look at Netflix. All right, NFLX. Okay, I'm sure everybody's watching Netflix these days. Most everybody is a Netflix binger, right? All right, look at the price on this baby, $634. All right, so let's open up that weekly long-term chart and go way back. All right, so check this out. If we went back to this period here in October, look at this. And that goes all the way back to like 2014, you know. So all the way up here, then down, then back and up. And we're still going up, all right? So we have a bullish pyramid. So if you were to get in on this pyramid and then rail your stop up here, you'd be pretty happy right about now. So you have an owl that's green, so you still have bullish momentum here, and you have just formed a green PTF. Now the green PTF is indicating higher highs. This indicator, believe it or not, has a 75% accuracy rate, okay? But it does not tell you, all right, how far a pullback could be based on that particular indication, so or when it's going to come back and make another high. But it is telling you that the trend is not over, it's going to make another high. So on this case here, if you were trading this, you'd have your stop right under this pyramid. You do have a higher high here, but you have bearish divergence again, all right? So this is the owl measuring momentum. And I still think at this particular point here, you have a stop that would be good. Let me just grab the data window. Probably, Stuart, right around 568.08. So 1 point under that, 568.07 is where you'd want your stop on a long-term holding. Now, if you're trading this from a position trading standpoint, again, this is a bullish daily chart you're looking at here. So in this case here, you know, a stop here is where you would be if you were position trading Netflix at this point. Now, one of the things you got to be careful about is getting into trends too late. You know, if you miss the trend, don't try to chase it. It usually does not end well. So keep that in mind. So the low on this is 576.93. So put your stop at 576.92 based on that applied reality trading pyramid stop that takes into account volatility and price patterns for trend trading. Now, obviously, the ideal place to have gotten in would have been right here on this new leg up, right? So getting in here, okay, and we have another one forming here, I would not take this one. The trend is too far along, and we've already had, that'll be the 4th pyramid, and after 4, we kind of look for trend exhaustion, okay? So hopefully you're in it. If you're not, wait for a pullback to get back in it. And we also have a fairly bullish 60-minute chart. So Netflix is bullish, all right? AMD, let's take a look at that one for Kevin. Kevin, thanks for joining us. And as Paul says, smash that subscribe and like button. All right, so let's see what we got cooking on this one. All right, so this is also a very bullish market right now. You don't have to be a genius to see that that is an uptrend, right? Nice, okay? So what's the story on this? Well, again, like all the other stocks, we're starting to see bearish divergence as prices go higher. So it's a little risky to get in at these levels if you have not been in already. And since it looks, Kevin, like you've been in already, that's a good thing. So again, if you're looking for a place to put a stop on a long-term trade, you'd want to use this pyramid here. This is the purpose of the pyramids, to help us determine key levels of support in the market for a stop. So that level here on this is going to be right around 84.24. So one tick under that, 84.23. And now let's take a look at the daily chart. And on this one here, you've got a green PTF, 75% accuracy rate, indicating that this high, the highest high in this green indicator, there's a 75% probability we're going higher. That's a pretty powerful statement. So you want to hold your long position. Now, when you breach this and this turns yellow, that means it's neutral like it was over here. You can go long and short on a neutral. All right, you just don't want to go long on a red or short on a green, right? But this is really good. So when you get above this, start bringing your stops closer if it turns yellow, okay? All right, and then use the 60-minute chart. So this is looking really good. What else can I say about this? So I guess if I had a stop, I maybe put it under here at the very bottom. Don't use a pyramid, okay, at this point, because this is green and you may get a pullback and you don't want to get stopped out. So when I have a green PTF, I kind of am very liberal on where I put those stops. Now, let's just quickly take a look at the 60-minute on this to see if that's giving us any more information. And as you can see, we have a bullish pyramid underway there as well. All right, now listen, we all know when you get a big move up, the markets never make it easy for us, do they? Okay, so you're going to get a pullback and then a resurgence, because I'm pretty confident you're going to get that resurgence because on the daily chart, Kevin, you had the green PTF, right? So in this time frame, all right, we had a green, but now it's yellow. So you're probably going to get a little minor pullback before it goes higher. That's what this chart is telling us. So if that bothers you, you could scale out maybe a third here or do nothing, because you do have that green PTF on the daily chart. So it's a good trade, all right? It's just you got to manage it now. Thanks for sharing that with us. Okay, anybody else? For fun, let's just go over and see what the short-term time frames are doing on some of the futures markets that we follow. All right, so for example, here's crude down here. Okay, a little messy. This is a 1-minute time frame. This is a 5-minute time frame, 15-second time frame. We have a day trading room, so we also trade some of these markets during that. So a little messy, no trade there. Let's take a look and see what the MES is doing. And that's a little more favorable trend to the upside, but we have a red PTF, so no long trades on the MES. Let's take a look at gold real quick. And gold's got a red PTF. So if we open this chart up here, this is a 5-minute chart on the micro gold contract, December 21. Now we do a lot of day trading on this, and let me just show you what we're looking at here. So this would be a 3. Elliott wave 3, look at all the pyramids down. All right, now we're in a 4, right? So we reached the wave 4 target zone. Now we're getting to go down. So we're going to wait for a pyramid, a bearish pyramid to form again before taking a short trade. But we've got a red PTF, so this low is not the final low, and that makes sense if you're into Elliott wave because that's showing us one more move down. But we have a green here, so we can't go short yet, okay? Got to wait for that to roll over a little more. But that's going to be a great trade before the end of the day. All right, let's go back and focus more on stocks here in case anybody has another one. All right, anything else? Have I covered them all? Did I miss any? Going once, going twice. All right, well, I think that looks pretty good. So let me shift back, all right? And I want to thank everybody for coming today. This this was a lot of fun, and I think the technology worked pretty good. All right, I think what we'll do going forward is just start the stream at 8 a.m. So go to the YouTube channel and just find us under, I guess, live premiere presentations. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Apparently, when we create one and create a link, somehow it gets messed up sometimes. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we're just going to start it brand new, and you can find us right on the channel. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I really had a lot of fun, and I hope you do too. And we're going to be back next Friday at 8 a.m., okay? So we'll see you then, all right? Thanks so much.